You may not know this because chances are you are an Overwatch player, but just about 50% of the world's population is women. But in Overwatch, esports, or sports as a whole, when you look around, you won't often see them. That's not actually because they suck, I'm just a liar who wants YouTube views, but because only 15% of media coverage is focused on women's sports, despite there being a sister league for most of the biggest sports across the world. In esports, this problem is even more exaggerated. Video games are accessible for people of all backgrounds, yet in Overwatch League, there were 3 female players, of 721. That's 0.4% of all players. Women are not given the same opportunities as men in competitive games. Video games are special in that there is literally no physical requirement to play a game. People have even played at a high level by blowing into tubes. This makes games uniquely accessible and gives everyone an equal chance to compete at the highest level. In theory, while in Overwatch there actually have been female players who played professionally, it hasn't been easy. A lot of people probably won't remember this, but before Aspen was a streamer, she was a streamer, but for C9, and after a while she left the organization to try to make it as a professional player. She was, and always has been, a great player, and decided to push for rank 1, which was well within her ability, while playing competitively for Revival. While she didn't know it at the time though, she faced targeted harassment as other pro players would Q-snipe her and throw her games to stop her from reaching her goal. They couldn't stop her raw talent, so she reached rank 1 anyway, mostly playing Brigida and Mercy, but the hate continued as those heroes are carried and meant for girls to play. So she just went and did it again, playing Baptiste and Lucio, reaching 4700 peak, which most pro players wouldn't even sniff. All of this had a huge impact on her though, as in 2021, shortly after hitting that peak, she gave up on her career in esports because of the uphill battle she faced just for being a woman. Even having all the necessary skill, she was left unable to fulfill her dream just because of her gender. Now she's a very successful streamer and put me on to Dress to Impress on Roblox and is doing well, but it's embarrassing that harassment came from the Overwatch community. Aspen's experience speaks to the larger problem of women not feeling able to participate in video games as it is a male-dominated space. We've all heard women get grilled in voice chat just for using their microphone or get treated differently. I don't choose to participate in this cesspool, but in Valorant, there are gremlins who camp voice chat until a girl talks and then do the worst flirting ever.
For every kill you get, I'll give you an ada.
Alright, bet.
That clip is staged, and for your and my sake, I won't put any real ones, but believe me, they are out there. And if you have played Valorant at any point, you know what I'm talking about. Some describe it as Tinder for the 15 to 19 age demographic, like on the 100 Thieves podcast, and that's a pretty apt summary. But it goes beyond that, as the girl in most of these situations doesn't actually want the contact to happen in the first place and is just trying to earnestly communicate. A study from the University of Offenburg found that a female gamer faced sexual harassment in 1 in 7 games of Valorant over voice chat. It's unreasonable to expect any woman to choose to continue on a path where sexual harassment is all but guaranteed, and as it stands today, that's what esports is, so the scene is deprived of many talented female players. There's a different scene that can provide us an even longer term view of that study though. Chess is one of the oldest games in the world, and as a completely intellectual game, women can compete equally with men. But throughout the game's long history, women have never been on the same level as the men, not due to the ability, but due to opportunity. The history of female chess really begins in 1920, when they were first allowed to compete in tournaments, but really gets going in the late 50s with their own tournament series that ran at the side of the candidates and World Chess Championship. Famously around this time, America's best chess player, Bobby Fischer, actively campaigned to exclude women from chess, saying that they would be better in the home. That all changed with the rise of the Polgar sisters, specifically Judith Polgar, who was not only easily the best female chess player ever, usurping her sister, Susan Polgar, she was also the 8th highest rated chess player in the world at one time, still the highest mark ever for a female player. She won all sorts of tournaments despite the ridicule she faced, creating so many new opportunities for female chess players with their skill and inspiring a new generation of female chess players, even getting Bobby Fischer to eat his words. Now chess is more equal than ever, and although there are still separate titles for women to encourage them to play more chess, these days more women are learning chess than ever, and streamers like the Botes sisters and Anna Kramling are inspiring people every day. It's still not perfect, as the best chess player of all time had no idea who the current best female chess player was. And don't think it's because he didn't recognize her. He gets paid to recognize patterns for a living, but there are definitely steps being taken in the right direction. Esports and chess, which has somehow become an esport now I guess, are scenes where equality is extremely achievable, and it starts with visibility. The reason Magnus didn't know who Ju and June was the same reason you don't know who this are. Women's sports and esports lack promotion to the average consumer. Women are also ostracized out of the scene in a way that men never are. The best example of that comes from Team Siren in League of Legends. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm one of the lucky ones out there and I know absolutely nothing about League of Legends, but Team Siren was a female team that tried to play in the Pro League and made this incredibly cringy trailer for their team, which you might be familiar with because of this video by Video Game Donkey.
Like, if anybody ever beats us, we just fucking shoot it.
This team got ripped apart, relentlessly thrashed in their comments, and targeted on their personal Twitch streams. Their Twitter even got hacked, and the hackers posted more disparaging things at the players' expense. The thing is, the players actually had no say in that video. The production was handed off to some company, and the team captain didn't even see the video until it went live. Team Siren was an aspiration that a group of friends had and nothing more. It's like when my friends and I tried to make a gaming clan back in the day, but because we're all dudes, it's cool and now there's memes about it. But when women try to do anything that men can do, they're going to suffer 2 times the consequences. The truth is, one reason why women are kept out of esports and gaming circles on the whole is the poor treatment treatment they face. I should preface this section by saying that just because some people have thick skin and can handle certain jokes at their expense does not mean everyone can or that it is okay. If you were raised on the internet, maybe your tolerance is higher, but it's unfair to expect anyone else to be that way. While some people do suffer from an earnest fear of women,
Scared of girl. Are they in voice? Ooh.
the treatment many girls endure on video games is unacceptable. Recently, again in the League of Legends scene, a professional player named Whippo, who plays for FlyQuest, said this about female pro players.
When a woman is on the wrong part of the month to play competitively, right? I mean, there's a time in the month where you should not be fucking playing competitive games as a woman, in my opinion. This is my experience having lived with one a while. She played a lot of League Ranked. It was just like, it was really obvious when she was just getting super irritated at every little thing. And that's not trying to be sexist or anything, it's just the way it was.
But first, if you want to be free from League of Legends for life, like this video and subscribe for more electric esports content. And if you want to support me to make more videos, hit the join button below. Shout out to the members in the second tier, Piggles and Left Y, and if you want to hear your name in my videos, click that button. Do it right now. Anyways, this is an incredibly sexist thing to say, and he just said that literally unprovoked. What the hell goes on in a League player's mind? Obviously, that has no bearing on the level of competitive play that a person can partake in, and it speaks to the double standards that women face in video games. A man is allowed to be passionate, whereas a woman is emotional. Whippo was allowed to go off on this random dude for some League shit I don't understand, but a woman couldn't possibly be a professional because of her period. As if billions of women across the world aren't in positions of power, and as if the leader of the third world continent he calls home isn't also a woman. Once again, this is emblematic of a broader and much more dangerous issue, as some men in high places simply see women as beneath them. And while we can look at that ridiculous situation and laugh, that is not true across esports, as it does also have real-world consequences. The most famous example in Overwatch is with Geguri, the first female player in the Overwatch League. But her path to success was far from easy. She was so good at Overwatch that everyone thought she was cheating, and when people found out she was a woman, the harassment got even worse. When she was only 16 years old, Geguri was already on top of the Overwatch world. She was the best Zarya player and had a very unique aiming style due to her ridiculous sensitivity and masterful control over her mouse. It was obvious for her to play in tournaments, and dominance would be an understatement for what occurred in her scrims. A lot of the articles and testimonials from this time have since been deleted, but people who played against her in one of her first scrims in the competitive scene believed she was cheating to such an extent that they swore they would retire if it was proven that she was playing legit. And others threatened to show up to her house to stop her from cheating, with one player even claiming he would wait outside her door and stab her to death. Geguri received countless death threats before, but when it was revealed she was a woman, things only got worse for her. Eventually she was forced into streaming with the camera not only showing her hand aiming, but from the back too, showing that she was in fact playing and there was nothing nefarious happening on the screen. Eventually, one of the people who threatened her was confirmed to be Zephyr, who unfortunately did not retire after it was revealed that Geguri wasn't cheating. Overall, Geguri had a tremendous impact on the game and helped countless female fans get involved in esports and in gaming in general. She's still around today and she makes Overwatch videos and still streams pretty consistently. She is an icon of the gaming and Overwatch community. Some players in other games though would never be given the opportunity to prove themselves. In 2021, one professional female Call of Duty mobile player in Brazil was killed at age 19 over a rivalry in the game. When asked for his motive, the killer responded he did it because he wanted to. This is a horrible tragedy, as a young life was purposely cut short over something as small as a video game, and this horrible act was not just a one-off. These events are representative of larger problems in Korea, Brazil, and around the world. In Korea, men and women have never been more polarized from each other, as their current leader of Korea ran with the slogan of abolishing the Ministry of Gender Equality with support of the Me Too movement, dropping from 77% in 2018 among men to 29% in 2021. The political divide is also increasing in the country, as a general trend in the world is that women are getting more liberal and men are getting less liberal or staying the same. In Korea, men have gotten so much less liberal that they are no longer on the chart. Across Korea too, women have faced less and less protection due to the rise of AI, as deepfake pornography has been heavily on the rise. Recently, a Telegram group of 220,000 people sharing photos and videos of mostly middle and high school girls was closed down. This is again due to a group that targets women online called wnba, which is again a symptom of the political polarization. Brazil faces similar issues, and while this topic goes far beyond the scope of an Overwatch YouTuber, Brazil faces a femicide crisis, as they have the second highest amount of targeted murders against women. Obviously, there are problems in both these countries and across the world that need to be addressed, and it should go without saying that none of them have to do with women. I think men in video games and outside of it so often take their frustrations out on women because they view them as easy targets or view themselves as above them. That's how incidents like all of these happen and how targeted harassment of women only gets worse. It's extremely easy for men who are in power in the vast majority of countries across the world to place problems on the other, which in many countries is women. Economic trouble, sexual frustration, and political upheaval threaten existing power structures, and many movements threatening the status quo are led by women, like the Me Too movement across the world, the 4B movement currently happening in Korea, or previously the Federation for Women's Progress in Brazil. That's scary. Seeing a historically oppressed group push for their rights causes panic amongst people who benefit from the systems that are already in place, and cause problems like misogyny, racism, and general prejudice to only get worse and worse. Speaking more broadly about men feeling threatened, it hurts some people to see women joining a space that men see as theirs. Video games, though, involve anyone and everyone, and should always push to include as many people as possible. They are the most accessible form of interactive entertainment, and not ostracizing women in video games is an important step to helping women feel more included in broader movements across the world. Esports and video games really are global, and it's possible to have an impact through inclusion. How many people were inspired by Geguri persevering? How many people were inspired by the Polgar sisters? These are people who can themselves push for change and create a better world for generations of future female gamers and athletes across the world. The last thing keeping men and women from being equal in esports and traditional sports is the pay gap. It's no secret that women earn less than men for the same jobs, earning 85% of what men make, though the gap has been closing over the past few years. The pay gap spreads to esports, where the highest paid male player has made $7.1 million in his career, and highest paid female player has made $400,000. This is due to the disparity in opportunities, but having segregated leagues definitely contributes to this problem. But even in a world where opportunities are more equal, content creation, men are still making much more than women. In a sample size of 2,414 influencers, male influencers earned $234 per collaboration, while female creators earned only $160 for similar deals. While this survey notes that it may be due to the differences in platforms the content creators focus on, gender definitely plays a part in this difference. We see the same problems in the wnba, where women earn far less than men. It's easy to look at these leagues and say that it's due to viewership or lack of interest in the WNBA or women just being worse at basketball, but that doesn't tell the full story. The WNBA has less viewers than the NBA, yes, but the players are also getting a smaller piece of the pie. In the WNBA, players make 17.5% of the league's total revenue. NBA players, on the other hand, get 50%. To make it worse, the WNBA salaries can only increase if the owners vote to raise the salary cap, where players still miss out on a small percentage. 17.5% of the spend goes towards marketing, and the owners are just allowed to pocket the remaining 65%. In 2024, jersey sales were up almost 800%, and the players got to see less of that. Even when the league is working out and is gaining in popularity, the players see no tangible financial benefit because they aren't allowed to by the owners. A lot of the rise in jersey sales is due to Caitlin Clark, who makes $78,000 a year as a professional athlete, which is unacceptable. If you think that Caitlin Clark isn't providing more than $78,000 in value, then you must be smoking crack. Caitlin Clark's jersey was the second best-selling basketball jersey in 2024. Not WNBA jersey, basketball jersey. It sold out in 17 minutes, selling more jerseys than the Dallas Cowboys sold in an entire year. Caitlin Clark herself has been the main reason for the league's 6% increase in year-over-year viewership, and now Paige Beckers is aiding into that trend even more. The problem is, these players have no reason to play better, aside from their own innate competitiveness, because no matter how well they play, they won't be making any more money. Her real value is closer to her Nike shoe deal, which is worth $28 million over 8 years, and in the coming years, I hope that the WNBA Players Association will increase the revenue share of the WNBA to encourage more female basketball players to seriously pursue a career in the league. While I have a lot less hard data for it, it's ignorant to say that players like Scarlett in StarCraft, Geguri in Overwatch, Florescent in Valorant, and female players across all esports don't increase interest in their respective scenes. The way I see it, there are two main ways to improve the inclusion of women in esports. One way is like how the WNBA does it, by taking a small fraction of revenue and using it towards marketing. Another is actually already being used in Counter-Strike esports. Many large Counter-Strike teams have a female counterpart. The Ninjas in Pajamas have NIP Impact, Navi has the Navi Javelins, but the most successful female team has been the Imperial Valkyries, who peaked at rank 48 in the world and played at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice this year. They played against Furia and Big in that tournament, but in a different tournament, they even had a lead on the male version of the Navi team. This was a major step for women in esports and shows that allowing for a female scene to develop independently, then get picked up by major orgs, can actually work for creating an equitable esports environment. The bottom line is that esports is such a diverse space that inclusion should be a priority. There have been leagues in Overwatch and Valorant, Calling All Heroes and Game Changers respectively, that are a great step towards inclusion at the highest level, and female gamers across games like StarCraft, CS, and Valorant have been extremely successful. The promotion of a diverse scene leads to the game getting better and more fair, which gives better and more equitable outcomes to everybody. Environmental hostility towards women prevents them from climbing the ladder, be at the top in esports despite their skill, and change can start even at an individual level. Esports is in a position to learn from other leagues because it's being built from the ground up. We can take ideas from how other leagues work, and other inclusion has helped to improve the circumstances for women across those sports. For esports has had figures who have triumphed over the adversity they have faced and succeeded, and for that they will forever be role models for the young girls they inspired. But there is no reason to allow for such barriers for entry to exist in such global games that welcome people from all walks of life. Esports needs to rally behind women who reach the top, punish those who discriminate against them, help to promote games to girls, and show them that it can be a viable career path just like it can be for men. The Caitlin Clark of esports may be just around the corner, but if we don't change the way that girls are treated, from ranked to the big stage, she may never decide to keep pushing as far as she can. A diverse scene is a strong scene, and it just takes a little work from all of us to foster it. Subscribe.